Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another day. This week has been insane between embroidery orders, graduation photos, working on the website, meeting with people. I've literally just been spending every single hour of the day working on something. We've literally been up every single night till 2 a.m. for the last I want to say like week and a half, except for Sunday. I try and go to bed really early on Sundays, try and recover, try and get all my rest in. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and get straight into what we're doing today. In today's video, we're actually gonna be starting a hat blank company. Actually, we're starting a few different companies. So the very first thing, if you guys can see right behind me, that whole entire table is pretty much filled to the brim with hats. All of those hats are blanks. So basically the website that we're building right now, T-shirt Tube, we added the whole hat section, which I've done plenty of videos on already. And I basically want it to be a full-on like apparel hub. I don't want to just retail hats. I also want to be on the wholesale side of things and sell blank hats for people. That way they can take my blank hats and then start their own brands with them. And then also, since we are offering embroidery as a service, that'll make it a lot cheaper and a lot easier for people to get their stuff embroidered. They don't have to go to like an independent wholesaler. We'll have everything in-house for them, nice and cheap and ready to go. It's also gonna lower my production times. I'll be able to make hats a lot faster if we have blank hats in-house all the time, as opposed to going to someone else to go grab them. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. There's actually two different brands mixed in here. We're only gonna be starting with the unbranded hats. We have Yupong hats, and then we have unbranded hats, which pretty soon they're actually gonna be T-shirt Tube brand. And these are gonna be some of the best entry-level hats that you can buy. Tons of different color variation. We actually have more colors than this on the website, ready to get shipped out. And these are basically just your traditional snapbacks. The starting price on the site for these is gonna be $5, trying to keep it nice and affordable. I was gonna set like a minimum order, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and allow people to just buy one or two. But I might set a bulk price. If people will order like over a dozen or something like that, they'll get a huge discount. I'm still working it out in the Shopify system. I don't really know how to input discounts like that. And then also, just so you guys know, we're gonna be putting up 54 different colors. And then we do have a list of solid colors that I still have to put up on the website. The majority of those colors are actually two-tone colors, to where it's like yellow and black, blue and gold, stuff like that. I do have some solid colors that we're gonna be throwing up as well. I just have to go ahead and make the listing for the website. And then like we even got camo. So yeah, just keep in mind that these ones are gonna be the very first ones on the website, and also just different styles. We're gonna throw up trucker hats. We're gonna hopefully get some decky hats. And then the end goal with our blank hats is actually to just establish our own blank hat brand. That way, hopefully one day we can manage our own supply and not have to rely on another company to do that. And so right now we're actually gonna go ahead and get a jump start on that whole process. I have 3 hat brands that we're gonna be starting today. Each one of them is not only gonna build into their own blank hat brand, but also just be their own brand in general. So eventually we'll even have like t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, all that stuff for each one of these. And another thing that I'm working on right now is labeling the first 100 hats. We spent a couple hours earlier today designing some custom patches for every single hat. Well, at least the first 100 of the hats. So basically you have the hat brand, and then it says number 1 of 100. And it's just gonna keep going down the line. Number 2 of 100, 3 of 100. Whenever you're starting a brand, the very first 100 hats are very important. They're what's gonna become collectible in the future. So I wanna make sure that I do my job and make it so people can distinguish what was authentic and what was the very first that released. Kind of just like the origin story. And then we're also gonna be throwing on another tag that says made by KenyonKen. And then if you guys can see right there on Stitch Piece, which just stands for this machine right here, this thing is known as Stitch Piece. So I want to make sure people know what machine stitched up their hat. Another mod coming for this thing within the next video or two, and I'm thinking it'll bring it to life a bit more. Anyway, these tags are actually going to go inside the sweatband. Like you're not gonna be able to see it when you're wearing the hat itself. They're gonna be tucked away inside there. And then after the 100th hat, there's not gonna be any more tags inside. All right, anyway, we already have all the stitch files for all the brands that we're starting today ready to go on the embroidery machine. We'll go ahead and get them framed up. We'll officially start these brands. And then I gotta sew on the actual patches themselves, which if you guys saw last video, I'm not really good at it. So we're probably gonna practice before we do the actual hats themselves, but we'll get it down. It's not rocket science. Go ahead and get started. All right, so for the starting lineup, we're just gonna grab this tan and black one, this mint one, and then there's a solid light blue one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and get those framed up, and then we also have the sewing machine right here, ready to go. All right, so first things first, we got the backing. We'll start with this tan one. Take out the sweatband, throw it on there, get it nice and lined up. Thing I like about these hats is they have the center line right here, so all I have to do is line it up with the red mark on the frame, and that's it. Throw the strap on, and we're good. While we're right here, let me go ahead and throw the other one on the frame. That one's ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna throw the mint one off to the side for now and throw on this tan one. All right, guys, so the name for the very first brand that we're gonna be starting is called Ballvek. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the logo on the computer. That way you can see what it's supposed to look like when it's done stitching. All right, so sorry about the lighting, but that's what it's supposed to look like. You guys can see really closely, the stitch pattern looks like a brick wall. We're using a special type of fill to get that texture. Hopefully everything translates correctly. Let me go ahead and get this lined up. Gotta do a trace. All right, so everything looks good. That's nice and centered. I'm gonna go ahead and throw you guys on the tripod and then we're gonna hit start. All right, guys, so there we have it. This is the very first Ballvek hat to ever be brought into existence. And we cut out the patches that we're gonna be sewing to it. We got the Ballvek number 1 of 100 patch right there, made by KenyonKen on Stitch Beast. I'm actually gonna go ahead and practice on a demo hat because I don't wanna ruin the first one. I'm not gonna waste you guys' time filming the practice hat, but I'll get back to you guys when I'm about to stitch up that one. All right, guys, so my first attempt at sewing the patch on to the sweatband went well. I'm gonna go ahead and do the main hat. Gonna flip out the sweatband again. First one's gonna go on this side. Gonna drop the foot pedal. Gonna go super slow. That's the bottom half. I'm gonna go ahead and do the top half. That's the first patch. Let me cut off the excess. We got another one to do. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on this side. Get this one trimmed up, flip that back in. All right, and that's how the second patch came out, one on each side. All right, guys, so the very first hat is done. We're gonna be dropping this into our collection over there. All right, guys, so this next brand is called Lexon. We're gonna be making this design using 3D puff, so we actually gotta pull out the foam. We already got it loaded up on the embroidery machine. I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like on the computer really quick. All right, so that's what it should look like. So the design's loaded up there. We're gonna go ahead and throw the foam on top. Put that right there. We're gonna tape it down. We're gonna run a trace and let's hit start. All right, guys, and this is how the Lexon hat came out. All right, so earlier I said there was only 2 more brands to go, but there's actually 3 more. So we just finished up 2 right now, and there's 2 left. Let's go ahead and get these made. All right, guys, so the next brand we got loaded up on the machine already is called Rexclo. The very first stitch file we have for it, we got the little skull at the bottom. It's actually not gonna be in brown. We're gonna go ahead and put this in orange since it's going on the blue hat. Already got everything lined up, already did the trace. All we gotta do is hit start. All right, guys, so this is the first ever Rexclo hat to exist. I'm actually really happy with how this came out. All right, so we still have 1 more to do. It's going on midnight right now. Then we just gotta get all the patches sewed on. Let's go ahead and move on to the next brand. It's called Tundrix. I gotta get it loaded up on the embroidery machine. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the computer. That's what the very first logo looks like. Let's go ahead and load up the hat. We're gonna use the gray one right here and get it stitched up. Let's go ahead and take this to the machine. All right, guys, we got the Tundrix logo loaded up. We're gonna go ahead and hit start. So here's how the Tundrix hat came out. All right, so now that we got all the hats made, I'm gonna go ahead and sew on all of the number tags, and then we'll be done. Alright guys, so we finished up the very first hats in our Generation 1 hat brands. I'll go ahead and flip these over, that way you guys can see the tags that are inside. Getting a lot faster at putting them in. Alright guys, so all the hats will be on the website. The first 100 of each brand is going to be tagged with the exact order that it was made in, and then everything after 100 not going to be tagged. I'm going to be changing the layout of the website completely, so in the next week or two it should be a lot cleaner, a lot easier to use. I'm also getting a lot of people emailing me for bulk orders, and then a lot of 3D puff. I can't take all the orders on right this moment, but within the next month we'll be able to take on every order that we possibly can get. It's 1:30 in the morning right now. I'm gonna get ready to go to bed. I'll be filming a lot more videos. I have so many more ideas I have to get out there, so we gotta get to work. But yeah, that's gonna end this video. My name is Kenyon. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.